Assaf Barnea, good afternoon. You're CEO of Kinrot Venture. Can you present us Kinrot Venture in quick?
Sure. Kinrot Venture is a seed investor. We invest between $500,000 to $1 million in each startup companies, and we are focused on water technologies. It's actually an incubator. In Israel, we have 24 incubators, and we are the water incubator of Israel. But unlike other incubators sometimes in the United States or in Europe, we also put the money. So this is why we are actually investors. We become shareholders. We have, I think by now, have become the largest seed investor in water technologies worldwide. We have 12 startup companies in different fields of water technologies and presenting different solutions and different needs for addressing different needs within this industry. And it's a hard work. We bring those companies for 2 years of operation within the incubator. We invest both government money from the chief scientist in Israel and private money from investors from Canada who are the owners of the incubator. And we escort those companies from a very preliminary stage, from a kind of a patent or just a presentation, into the proof of concept, into the alpha stage, into the beta stage, and later on to the full commercialization of the product.
Today is the third edition of Innoveco. Your address was focused on the Israeli approach in terms of water issues. What were the key points of your address?
Basically, what happened is that in 2006, the government in Israel has decided to prioritize water technologies and to see it as the next high-tech industry. We have a very developed and respectable high-tech industry in Israel with a lot of innovation and startup companies and venture capitalists that have invested in that. And the government was looking for the new field for Israeli to export more and more technologies and products out of Israel. And in 2006, the government in Israel has decided to look into the water industry as a very good opportunity for the Israeli market and the industry within that, since we have a lot of know-how and expertise, scarcity of water. Definitely, we are in a different situation than in Paris and in France, obviously, but water is an issue all over. I mean, even in countries that you have water, you have some other issues like water management issues and water quality issues. So I think it's a global opportunity, and this actually was acknowledged by the Israeli government, and the Israeli government was trying to build an ecosystem of cooperation between Kinrot Ventures as an incubator, but not just, but rather the government, municipalities, the academy, water institutions, and really able to support one another in order to address the opportunity, the global opportunity that resides within this market.
During your talk, you said that an ecosystem is started to emerge in 2004. What do we need now?
I think that 2004 was the year that actually the awareness really started about water, the water industry, and maybe obviously Suez and Veolia have been there, done that for so many years. But the fact that GE and Siemens have stepped into that market, those giants stepped into the water industry, created the awareness wave. Everybody, I mean, from the perspective of investors, venture capitalists and private equity, now they said a lot of big companies, big corporates, the giants have stepped into that, so there will be more and more mergers and acquisition. Nevertheless, this is just the first stage. There's actually a convergence of the high-tech meeting the low-tech, the innovation meeting the infrastructure. And for that to happen, it takes a lot of capital, a lot of patience, and a lot of creativity, and trying not to duplicate the same models that we see and used to from the high-tech industry or from the clean-tech industry or from kind of the infrastructure. We have to be very flexible, see the needs. Water technologies are not internet application. You cannot launch them in 8 months. You cannot have guys from New York downloading that and testing that and using an application, a new technology related to the internet. It takes a lot of time, a lot of capital, but the bottom line is that the world and us as people, as mankind, we simply have to bring that and bridge the gap between this old aging infrastructure, scarcity of water, whatever will be the needs, and the innovation, the technologies that can support and address that.
A point of view that you discussed this morning and show here in Innoveco. What do you think of that? What are the strengths of Innoveco and an event like this?
I think it's a very, very crucial point. I mean, people can really discuss and do that, but it has to be the stickiness and the ability to work together and create partnership and really create an ecosystem that talks the same language. and support that, because if you have a lot of startup companies, if you have a lot of research, if you had a lot of needs on the other, if they don't talk to one another, if they don't meet in conferences such as Innovico and others, I mean, then, only then, people from different fields, people that didn't speak with one another before, venture capitalists didn't invest their time or money into clean tech and water. Now they're starting to, and they're looking for more and more know-how and information. They've been talking to the telecom companies, to the software companies, not to the local utilities. And therefore, such a conference is a great opportunity for them to meet and discuss and share know-how and information and create partnership. And obviously also reduce the anxiety, reduce the fear and the lack of information about that specific market, the water industry that is now rising again.
Assaf, Barnea, thank you very much.
Thank you, my pleasure.